Good morning and welcome to the Bowling University studio from the International Bowling Campus in Arlington, Texas. I'm John Karabatsis and I'll be your host for this edition of the Bowling University Tuesday Morning Profit Break. Thank you for joining us. The Tuesday Morning Profit Break is an opportunity for sharing insights on how to grow your revenue, reduce costs, and enrich yourself, your team, and your business. Welcome to our new viewers and welcome back to those of you joining us again. Thank you for taking a few minutes out of your busy day to join us. We have another great show ready to share with you. So grab your coffee or your favorite morning beverage and let's get started improving your profitability. Today we have with us Bart Berger. Bart is the Director of Membership and Education here at the BPAA. Most of you know Bart. He has a wealth of knowledge and experience that's only rivaled by his passion for our industry. And today Bart's going to share with us a very important topic, foundations of digital marketing success. Specifically, Bart's going to take us through the importance of website development. So let's get started. Bart has a lot to share. Bart, welcome, and thanks for sharing your knowledge.
Awesome. Thanks, John. And good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you. As JK said, I've got a lot to share with you in a small amount of time. We're going to start our journey on the foundation for digital marketing success there. But before we do, let's lay the foundation of what is digital marketing, because sometimes as small business operators, we get a little nervous and this digital and technology, and we're a little leery of that. But let's break this down and not be intimidated by this thing called digital marketing. First, digital marketing is nothing more than content delivered through digital channels, right? It's your marketing efforts through digital channels like search engine, websites, social media, email, SMS, and we use the term SMS, we're talking about text messaging. We all know those text messages that we get there. So the reason I love digital marketing, and I'm so passionate about it for small businesses, is it levels the playing field. In mass media sense, many of us as small business operators, we may not have the budget for radio or TV or even local cable or print. Those were all forms of mass media advertising that were really reserved for large corporations or larger entities that had both the talent to develop it and also the budget to spend it and allocate it. But I love it. I love digital marketing because it really levels the playing field, and it's things that small business operators can do. In fact, I like to use the term that digital marketing allows us to play in the big boy sandbox. And what I mean by that is, as a small business operator, you can do anything that a big brand like Best Buy does. You can do anything that Disney does in the digital space. Now, we can't compete with them in the mass media space. There's no way. They will always outspend us. They will always have more resources than us. But we can play in the big boy sandbox when it comes to digital marketing. So let's look at this digital ecosystem, if you will, here. And so there's our center, and these are the 5 components that we talk about in this area of digital marketing. The website, the SEO, which is search engine optimization, email, SMS or text messaging, and finally, social media. So we're going to break each of these out in some upcoming episodes. But what I'd like to do today is I'm going to spend a few minutes with you on this first topic of website. But before I get into that, one last point on this digital space is that we have to understand that data is king. We can play in the big boy sandbox. We can do all of the things that large businesses do as small business operators, but we have to have the data. And so my question to all of you is, are you collecting data? And if so, how? I hope you are. You should start tomorrow if you're not. And then once you have that data, where are you storing your data? What we call it a CRM, or a customer relationship management tool, or really it's a database, but today we call them CRMs. Now, if you already have a CRM solution, great. If you don't, just know that as a member, BPA has a possible solution for you. It's our Customer Connect, powered by Salesforce. But at the end of the day, data is king. You have to collect it. You have to have somewhere to store it so you can do all the things that we're going to talk about in doing that. So let's get back to our digital ecosystem here. And today, this morning, we're going to spend just a few minutes talking about that website as really the foundation there. So first of all, for my small business friends, I love you, but Facebook is not your website. Unfortunately, many small businesses use Facebook as their default website in doing that. And just know this, there's really two reasons you don't want to do that. One is, and we've learned this painfully, and I don't want this to turn into political, but we've learned painfully that you don't own that space on Facebook, that Facebook owns it. What happens tomorrow if they decide to start charging for that? What happens if they decide to freeze your account, remove your account? So just know from a business perspective, you don't own that page on Facebook, and at any time they could try to monetize it. And then secondly, and I think equally as important from a marketing standpoint, if all you're doing is selling on your Facebook page, then that's not social media, it's just media. Right? So even as small business operators, we all need websites. It's critical. And the image I'm showing you there is, you'll see the other thing is, you need to make sure that your website is what in today's terms is called responsive design. Now, you don't necessarily need to understand the mechanics of how responsive design works. You just need to know that it's real, and you have to be able to, whoever does your website, they have to make sure your system is responsive design. And you can see there that no matter what size screen we tend to view your website on, it responds and redesigns itself so it optimizes for that screen. So it's a great test for yourself. Pull up your website on various devices and see if you have responsive design. Now, let's talk about the goal of your website. What should the goal of your website be as a small business operator? You want to provide information for your guest or potential guest and know what they're looking for. Right? So provide that information for guests and potential guests. We need to be able to book business, and of course we want to collect data. Remember, data is king. So can we collect data on your website? Can I book business on your website? And are you providing the information that guests or potential guests are looking for? Now, what are guests looking for? And this really comes from some surveying that we did, and this is what respondents told us. And here's what your guests or potential guests are looking for. First and foremost, where are you? Where are you located? Then they want to know, are you open? Can I come see you? We have a unique product that sometimes we have capacity constraints that people may or may not be able to participate in based off of your business model and whether or not you're having leagues or not leagues or what's going on. So can I come see you? Of course, they want to know what does it cost? And then they want to know what kind of products you offer, what type of food you offer, is your menu available? So this is hard data. This is what people are telling us they want to find on your website. Scary stat. 44% of people will leave your website if they cannot immediately find out where you are in your contact information. And that's for all small businesses. That's just not for our space in the bowling space. They have to be able to find you and get that contact information. So that's what guests are looking for. Now, what do you want? Because as a small business operator, certainly the guests or potential guests want something, but you're a business person. You have some wants and needs out of this website as well. Well, look, obviously, you want them to visit your location. The website now becomes your first point of contact for your business. So I want them to visit your location. Obviously, if data is king, we'd love for them to be able to share their data with you. So if I go to your website, can I opt into your database? If not, I should be able to. Can I book business? And that's something that's really changed. We used to teach to, at a minimum, you should be able to submit a lead. But I can tell you that on this road to recovery, coming out of the pandemic, in speaking to many of you around the country, the one thing that's really changed, and think about our own consumer behavior and our own consumer habits as well, is that we want to be able to book business. So it's just almost becoming imperative that we can book business on our websites now. And I think that the one thing we learned from the pandemic is it has accelerated change in a lot of ways. And for us as business operators, that acceleration of change is that we must be able to book business going forward, and it's just accelerated that change, and we've got to meet that. So whatever that solution is, however you get there, the ability to book business is critical going forward, and it's really a great lesson learned coming out of the pandemic there. So very quickly, that is some things for you to be thinking about your website. We've unpacked a lot there in a short amount of time. I would like to remind you that we have an excellent course, our Foundation for Digital Marketing Success, that you can find online at our on-demand online educational and training program. You can also learn more about digital marketing by attending one of our one-day boot camps, or even coming to see us here at the campus at one of our management schools. And we'll be sharing the rest of the ecosystem with you in some later episodes. JK?
Thank you, Bart. Some great stuff. I do have a question for you. I love what you said about Facebook not being your web page. So is building a website something that a proprietor should undertake on their own, or should they reach out to a website developer?
Yeah, you know, JK, that really is a great question. And I think to unpack that, we really need to understand why that is. Why do small business operators treat the Facebook page as their website? And candidly, it's because it's easy. Right? It's easy to get on a Facebook page. It's easy to build a page. It's easy to update a Facebook page. Many of us do it in our personal lives, all the time. So as a small business operator, you're busy. You might not have the IT wherewithal or the programming capability to build a website. So by default, we often turn to Facebook. So that's the why. That's why operators do that today. But we caution folks here at the university not to do that. So to answer your question directly, for most of us as small business operators, we are going to want a third-party solution. It's not something we're going to want to do ourselves. And to get up and going, we probably will look to a service to provide the hosting and get us up and going and building. And then from there, we can, technology has really made it user-friendly for us to update that site. There's a lot of opportunity once the site is built for us to update it. But you're going to need some help up and going. And our role is to provide solutions, not to sell anything. BPA does have a solution. Our IT team hosts about 500 websites around the country. It's a great solution for some small businesses. It may not be for yours, but you're going to want some help in a third party that will help you get up and going to get started, and then you certainly can manage that going forward. But I just caution folks, please, 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 don't default to Facebook as your website, because that's not what it is. You have to have that professional looking site to meet the needs that we talked about that you own.
Great. Thank you. Great advice, great information. Thank you for that, Bart. So as we wrap up another edition of the Tuesday Morning Profit Break, remember that when you focus on growing your people, people will grow your business. We look forward to seeing you next week, 10:15 Eastern, for another great episode of the Tuesday Morning Profit Break. If you have any questions about today's show or would like additional information, you can reach Bart or any of us here at education@bpa.com. Also, you and your team can watch any of our previous episodes 24/7 by visiting bowlinguniversity.net. Until then, I'm John Karabatsis, and do for one what you wish you could do for everyone. See you next week.